Hey guys, Rusty here, and recently WoW had put out an article saying that a new Lua file mentioning patch 9.1.5 has been pushed. Now, I'm gonna be real with you guys, it's a miracle I managed to push the frickin' record button in this video. I have no idea what a Lua file is. Point being, it's got people talking about patch 9.1.5, it's got me excited about it, so while I've been a little more on the negative side, I do think it's important to be realistic, not just positive or negative. I want to make more of like a speculation video, try and look on the bit of the brighter side of things, while also still being realistic about things. So in this video, I want to talk about patch 9.1.5. What do I think Blizzard's going to do in the patch? What do I really want them to do in this patch? And also, let me know in the comments down below, guys. What do you think Blizzard will do? What do you want them to do? What do you guys want to see from this patch? So, let's get right into the video. So, let's start off with what I think Blizzard will do, and also what I would really like to see them add in patch 9.1.5. Now, the first one, guys, let's be real, this is an obvious one. I would be shocked if they didn't do this, and that's simply adding back the Brawler's Guild. I mean, that's one of the best pieces of content Blizzard has ever added into the game. Every time it comes around, like, I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like the Brawler's Guild, guys. Blizzard always gets wacky with their fights there. They're just really good solo challenges, and Blizzard does excel at making those solo challenges. Previous Brawler Guilds have shown that, and also so have the Mage Towers. Torghast bosses, not so much, but Brawler's Guild is always a good time. I really want to see them get creative with this one. You know what, honestly, they should make a fight. Get this, you ready? You guys always know how in the cutscenes they're always so hard focused on the jailer's nipples? Well, let's fight the jailer's nipples. There you go, Brawler's Guild. I'd be surprised if they didn't add the Brawler's Guild, guys. I mean, it's always a good time. It usually comes with mounts. Transmog, the last time it came with an easy quest line, but also a somewhat kind of interesting one. I kind of hope they do something like that again. So another obvious one that I'm sure everyone's thinking about is going to be Legion time walking. The Legion dungeons were probably some of the best the game has ever made. This is before they also started designing with Mythic Plus around, which in my opinion, before that, dungeons were a little bit better. Legion dungeons were absolutely incredible. I really also hope if they do this, if we get Return to Karazhan in this, I really hope they don't split it up into lower and upper Return to Karazhan. I hope if you have to specifically queue into it, but you get the full Mythic dungeon. Return to Karazhan, in my opinion, is the best dungeon that Blizzard has ever put out. Now, when they do this, I don't want to see just dungeons. I want to see time walking in general expanded a little bit, and I think they could start doing this with Legion. The first thing I want to see them do with time walking is, I mean, recently, if you guys know about the bug that happened, it was a really, really good way to level. Obviously, you got like 300,000 XP for leveling. Now, I'm saying it doesn't have to be that much. That's obviously way too much, but I really hope they increase the amount of experience you get from time walking. Similar to how it was in the Legion pre-patch with the Legion invasions, so that way it's like an alternative way to level your alts, and also a fun way if it's something you want to do. Now, what I also want to see them do is, well, first of all, during that, and kind of adding on to this dungeons, bring back your artifact weapons. Let people, if they have their artifact weapons, let them use them in the Legion time walking dungeons. Even if it messes with current class design, I think it would be so cool to use some of those abilities again with the artifact weapons, Legion legendaries. If it's just in time walking, who cares? If it's fun, I think that would be absolutely awesome. If it breaks the dungeon, let us break the dungeon. That is such a good feeling to have. Now, what I also want to see them do with time walking is essentially bring back some of the old Legion content. I mean, like a Reputation, for example, Talon's Vengeance. If you guys know how that works, essentially you get this item you would only be able to use in the Falcosaur World Quest areas, and it's still like that, to gain Reputation by killing other players. If you have War Mode on and stuff like that, or I guess it didn't have War Mode in Legion, but you get the point. Now, right now, during Shadowlands, and even if it was the same thing in BFA, guys, no one does the Falcosaur World Quest anymore, so what I would like to see them do with Legion time walking is, while it's active, let us use the item pretty much anywhere in the game. Let us use it in Korthia. Maybe we'll get some PvP going in Korthia, and it'll actually make Talon's Vengeance not an annoying rep to get. Now, you'll eventually get the Battleground item, right, but before that, it's a pain, the rep's a pain in the butt to farm, so they could do stuff like that. They could scale back some of the old Legion content. Guess what else they could do? Guys, Scale up the mage tower to current level. They don't have to spend a super incredible amount of time tuning it right to current class design, but I think it would be really cool just to bring back the Legion mage tower, because that was the best part of Legion. And just put like a simple mount behind it, some transmog. I think it'd be a really cool idea to bring back the Legion mage tower. That's probably, in my opinion, the mage tower is the best piece of content this game has ever received. I would love to see it come back for Legion time walking. And kind of staying on the subject of time walking, something else I think they will do is I think they will add Throne of Thunder time walking, which the last one they added was Firelands for Cataclysm, so Mr. Pandaria would be next, and it's going to be between Throne of Thunder and Siege of Orgrimmar. Don't think they would add anything else. And while Siege of Orgrimmar is a fantastic raid, Throne of Thunder is widely regarded as one of the best raids of all time, so I would be shocked if they did Siege of Orgrimmar instead of Throne of Thunder. So the third and kind of final major piece of content I think Blizzard's going to add in 9.15 is simply just more story quests, which I'm all for. I mean, guys, it's no secret that the community as a whole is not a big fan of the actual main story quests. There's some bits of lore that's really cool, right? But the actual main story stuff, like, you know, the Sylvanas and the Jailer, it's no secret that people aren't a fan of it, and this might be people might not be happy with this. I think the story can be good. They need to explain it more. So what I want to see them do, if they add any more quests, I want to see them add a lot more quests, not just like 5 or 6, like explaining like, oh, I didn't have my soul, I'm back to normal Sylvanas now, let's stop the explain, like, show some interactions between Sylvanas and the Jailer. Put a lot more cutscenes, longer cutscenes. Put a lot more audio in and dialogue in the quest. Just put a lot more quest in general, and I think that would really... at this point, I don't think they can make the main story amazing. I think that ship has already sailed, but I think they can at least explain it and make it a little bit better than it is, simply by just adding in a lot more quest, dialogue, and cinematics. I mean, like the little, after the final Chains of Domination quest here, they added all these stay behind and listen with all the NPCs talking to each other. Those are really friggin' great, guys. Some of the audio and dialogue in there, really good. I really hope they add more of those too. And really, I just want to see more quests, more dialogue, more cutscenes. That'll help explain the story and make it a little bit better. And kind of staying on the subject of questing, I think they're also going to add some more heritage armor. And now, while I think most of the player base would prefer orcs and humans at this point, I think they're going to do undead or Forsaken and Night Elves. Forsaken, obviously, because Sylvanas is a major character right now. I'd love to see... I mean, we never really got what the Forsaken really thought about Sylvanas just kind of ditching them. There is some dialogue here and there, but I want to see, like, actual quest lines, seeing what they think, and maybe figure out who the new leader is going to be. And then Night Elves, obviously, we had the whole Elune storyline going on. I personally don't think that's a great storyline, but maybe with the Night Elf heritage armor, they could explain it a little bit better and see how the Night Elves actually feel about what Elune did. Maybe Tehran will go back and tell him, yeah, she sent them for Anima. It's great. Anyways, I think they're going to add some more heritage armor, and I think it's going to be undead and the Night Elves. So that's it for like the major things that I think they will add in patch 9.1.5, because again, this is just a minor patch, not a major content patch. Some small things I think they might add. They might add another pet battle dungeon. It's definitely been a while since we've had one of those. I think those are great content, so why not add them? I do also think they're going to add the ability to solo queue islands if you want to farm out all those mounts, transmog, and pets, stuff like that. They did talk about that in an interview. Voice cracks always stay in, by the way. They talked about that in an interview, adding that in. So that would be a perfect, 9.1.5 would be a perfect patch to do that. And finally, I think the last thing people would expect from a .5 patch is your simple class balances, maybe some minor changes here and there, some tuning. They usually do that in those small patches. I think they should do it all the time and not just in the small patches personally, but you would come to expect that with a patch 9.1.5. I don't expect to see much or any Covenant balancing, honestly, only because we are still in the middle of Sanctum Domination. I would be very surprised with the current Covenant restrictions if they did that. It would surprise me. So let's move on to what I personally want to see in patch 9.1.5, and also what I think the WoW community would really like in the patch. And the first one is I want to see Twisting Corridors in Torghast actually get some updates to it. At the bare minimum, I want them to add just more cosmetic rewards. I mean, that's something the player base has been asking for since the beta of Shadowlands. Whether you like the island expeditions or not, guys, one thing you can't deny was the amount of cosmetics that you were able to farm from islands. I mean, Torghast is supposed to be the Tower of the Damned. All the dead of Azeroth and every planet go to the Shadowlands, currently the Maw, right? So, I mean, like, there's no reason you can't add a bunch of cosmetics from all the different races of Azeroth, Draenor. You get the point. I mean, I feel like lore-wise it's justified, and also, I mean, it's something the players have been asking for since the beta of Shadowlands. I think this patch is a perfect time to add in those cosmetics, specifically to the Twisting Corridors. Give us a reason to actually farm the layers. Let each boss of the layer actually add in, have a chance to drop these cosmetics. And that's not to say they didn't add them in patch 9.1. I do like the cosmetics they added in patch 9.1. But point being, I want more, and I think the player base really wants more. And kind of staying on the subject of Torghast, let us level through Torghast. While I know most people don't like it, there's a pretty decent chunk of people that actually do like Torghast, and I think it would be a nice alternative to leveling instead of doing the campaign, the boring Threads of Fate, or you could actually do it during Threads of Fate, right? You could level through Torghast. I think that'd be a nice little change for them to add. One more thing to touch on with Twisting Corridors, and that's simply, I want better boss fights. I need better boss fights, guys. Let's be real. Not positive, not negative, realistic. The boss fights currently in Torghast, they're not good. They're boring, uninteresting, and they have there's a 0% wipe chance if you have any decent anima powers at all. They're just completely uninteresting. Blizzard, Ian, everyone knows it, I know it. You guys can make good solo challenges. You do it every single time with the Brawlers Guild. You did it with the Mage Tower, even not solo challenges with raids. You make some of the best raid fights in the industry. Everyone knows you guys can make fantastic raid bosses. Or, well, just bosses in general. Please, do it with Torghast. If you're afraid of people not being able to do it because they won't get their Soul Ash and Soul Cinders, we'll have another solution for that in a bit. But just put it in Twisting Corridors at the very least, where it's cosmetic only. Put some mounts behind this. Put some really cool spell effects. Let me, if I'm a Warlock, green fire type stuff like that. I don't know if they're purple fire, blue fire. You could do all types of different spell effects as rewards as defeating these solo challenges. Guys, Torghast, Tower of the Damned, like I said before, this is where the dead of Azeroth and other worlds go to. Bring back some old raid bosses and you could redesign them a little bit as a solo challenge. Bring back some of the coolest bosses of all time. Lei Shen, Blackhand, Gul'dan. They have so many cool options they could do. Everyone knows Blizzard makes good bosses. I really want to see them do it in Torghast. I think that would be awesome. I think there's a very small chance they would do that for a small patch like this, but it's something I would really like to see, so I really hope they do it. And again, guys, I get the feeling the reason why Blizzard doesn't want to make the boss fights too challenging is because they're afraid people won't be able to kill them to get their Soul Cinders or Soul Ash for their legendaries. First of all, what I say to that, I mean, personally, I would say get good, but I don't think Blizzard has that same opinion as me. So a simple solution, guys. You know the reason why people call it Torghast, right? Is because they're forced to do it for their Soul Ash and Soul Cinders. Let us get it in every single piece of content in the game. Guys, artifact weapons had their problems, but you got a decent chunk of artifact power from every piece of content in the game. Raids, Mythic Plus, the World Quest, PvP. Now, obviously, there's always going to be a best Maw Souls, but I think the idea at the very least that there could be Soul Cinders or Soul Ash coming from your raid content, you could cap out on that. If you PvP, you could cap out doing PvP, your Mythic Plus. You get the point. It wouldn't just be tied to Torghast, and I think that term Torghast would be used a lot less frequently if Torghast was more just for the fun of cosmetics and just making really cool, fun, and interesting bosses that also interact with your anima powers. I mean, guys, the raid literally takes place in Torghast. Why don't we get Soul Cinders from the raid bosses? I think that'd be a nice, simple solution to that, and I think players would enjoy the legendary crafting system a little bit more if they didn't feel forced into going into Torghast. Of course, when I start recording is when someone decides they want to cut their lawn, so here we are a couple hours later. But the next thing I want to talk about, I really want to see, I mean, it's the same thing everyone's been asking for since beta, and that is to simply loosen up the Covenant restrictions, at least in terms of the player power. Let us swap around between the different Covenant abilities. I feel like that would breathe some much needed life into the expansion. You could just, I mean, you don't even need alts just for your main. How many of you guys have not even tried out your other Covenant abilities? Who has played one Covenant for the entire expansion? I've only done 2. I haven't tried the Kyrian and Necrolord on my Demon Hunter because it's just garbage in terms of DPS. So loosen up the Covenant restrictions a little bit, at least in terms of the player power. so people can experience those things, right? I feel like that's something people have been asking for since beta. Not even I feel like it is. You could keep the cosmetic side of it locked behind the Covenant, right? You don't want a Necrolord wearing a Venthyr set. Fine, whatever. That's fine. And the whole argument, like, oh, it's an RP reason you can't have a Necrolord running around Venthyr. Blizzard, guys, let's be real. The whole RP thing is already broken. I mean, the fact that we already have Paladins that could be Necrolords, yeah, that's real RP friendly right there. So please, loosen up the Covenant restrictions a little bit, and kind of staying on that topic, delete Conduit energy. Nobody likes it. Okay, here's the thing. Conduit energy, either nobody cares about or you hate it. I have never seen an argument for Conduit energy that wasn't made by Troll God X. For the love of God, get rid of Conduit energy. It has no purpose in the game, Blizzard. Please, just let people play their specs and their classes the way they want to play it. Don't lock it behind artificial time gating. That's just silly to me. So those are the big ones that I personally would love to see in this patch. Now I'll just want to do some quick fire ones. First one, I would love it if there was an item that got you to Renown 40, as going from 1 to 80, while technically it is actually pretty fast, it can look a little bit daunting for like a new player or someone who has not gotten to Shadowlands yet. So I think an item at the very least getting you to Renown 40 would be good, as 40 to 80 is a pretty big catch up. Personally, I would like it if it was just account wide too, but I would also take an item that got you to Renown 40. Now, I would also love it if there was a Maw skip at this point. There was a skip for the Legion and Battle for Azeroth introduction quest lines, even though those were technically scenarios. They were still introductory quests that you were able to skip, and it'd be nice if you could do that in the Maw too. Just get right into that leveling. Now, another small thing I would love for them to add is, why is there not a 500 mount achievement yet? I'm really hoping it's because they're working on a really cool and awesome mount for 500 mounts, because that is a lot. So I would love that if that came in during this patch. And finally, Blizzard, Guildmaster loot, bring it back. No, I'm kidding. I know they're never going to bring that back, at least in this expansion. The final one I do want to mention is, I think at this point, why not just activate Legacy Loot Mode for Battle for Azeroth content, meaning the dungeons and raids. While most people aren't soloing it right now, I think it's silly that it's not activated for the people that can solo it. I don't think it breaks the game. And I think it would really motivate people to go back to those Battle for Azeroth raids and dungeons and try and solo them for that transmog gear. Because right now, I'm not going to waste my time trying to solo Uldir for a very, very little chance that the sword I want will drop. So I think it'd be really nice if Legacy Loot Mode was activated for Battle for Azeroth. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I think Blizzard will add in patch 9.1.5 and what I would love them to add for the patch. It is a small patch, though, right, all these 0.5 patches are small patches. I did put out a lot of content I would like to see. I would love it if they got it all. Even if they got a couple of them, like especially the main ones, making essentially alts a little more friendly, like your Brawlers Guild, even the Legion Time Walking. I think for a small patch, that'd be pretty decent. Obviously, with patch 9.2 in the near future, not near future, probably not near future, I would love to see more of this stuff come in, but I feel like some of it can be put in patch 9.1.5. Let me know in the comments down below, guys. What do you think Blizzard will add in patch 9.1.5? What would you like them to add in the patch? And yeah, let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it. Sub to the channel if you liked the content. Another guide coming soon. And as always, guys, remember, Halo 3 is the best Halo, but guys, I'm getting worried. Kind of. I mean, like, I'm worried that Halo Infinite will be better because Halo 3 is near and dear to me, but at the same time, if Halo Infinite is actually better than Halo 3, I'm also going to be happy because it's a good Halo game. Anyways, for now, Halo 3 is the best Halo. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.